Have you ever whispered to the universe, "Please, just give me a sign"? Maybe you didn't say it out loud. Maybe it came in a moment of silence, or in the middle of the night when the world was asleep, but your heart was wide awake. You didn't need anything big, just something small, a confirmation, a quiet message from life saying, "Keep going, it's about to shift." If you've ever felt that, this video right now is for you. Because this is the sign. No, not by coincidence, not by accident. You're hearing this because you're already in the field of change. You're closer than you think. Today, we're going to talk about the power of signs, what they mean, why they often show up when we're about to give up, and how they are not promises, but preparations, energetic previews of the abundance that's trying to reach you. And if something already stirred inside you, don't wait. Like this video now, subscribe if you feel called, and write in the comments, "I asked for a sign, and I received this one with gratitude." Let's begin. Let's open the space, because something wants to flow into your life, and this is how you let it in. Jacob was tired. Not just, "I need a nap," tired, but soul tired. He had been working non-stop for years, trying to grow his business, trying to make something of his life, trying to finally feel like he had enough. He did all the right things. Listened to the podcasts, read the money mindset books, set goals, made plans, wrote down intentions. But the money still felt just out of reach. It was like no matter how much effort he put in, something always pulled him back. An unexpected bill, a delayed payment, a client that disappeared. He started to doubt. Maybe he just wasn't meant for this. Maybe abundance was only for other people, the kind with the right energy or the right luck. One night, after checking his bank account and sighing for the 100th time, he closed his laptop, leaned back in his chair, and said under his breath, "If this is still possible for me, give me a sign, just one." He didn't tell anyone. He didn't expect anything dramatic. He was just tired of trying without knowing if it mattered. The next day, something strange happened. He went for a walk, something he hadn't done in weeks. He took a different path than usual, just for the sake of it. As he passed a cafe window, he glanced over and saw a sticker on the glass. It said, "Everything is shifting. Don't stop now." He stopped, frozen, staring. It wasn't some divine explosion in the sky. It wasn't a voice from the clouds. It was a phrase on a window, but it pierced right through him. He felt his heart speed up, his breath caught in his throat, and in that moment, he knew. He didn't cry. He didn't smile. He just felt still, like something inside him had finally unclenched. It was the first time in a long time he'd felt peace. That sticker didn't solve his problems. It didn't pay his bills. It didn't magically change his situation. But it changed his energy, and energy changes everything. That same week, Jacob stopped forcing things. He simplified. He allowed space for ease. A client he thought he'd lost came back. A family member offered unexpected help. And for the first time in months, he ended the week with money left over and breath in his chest. It didn't happen because he worked harder. It happened because he finally trusted the message. He let go of the fight and started moving with the flow. If you've ever been where Jacob was, if you're there right now, this is your moment. Write this in the comments. "I open to receive. I trust the shift. I move with the signs." Say it out loud. Let it anchor in your body. This might be your turning point. Have you ever noticed how the signs seem to show up? Right when you're about to give up? Not when you're overflowing with hope, not when you're full of clarity, but when you're standing in the dark, on the edge of letting it all go. Why is that? Because life knows the rhythm of your soul. It knows when you've reached your emotional edge, and it knows that's when you're finally quiet enough to listen. You see, signs don't shout, they whisper. And when your mind is racing, when you're overthinking, doubting, controlling every little thing, you miss them. But when your walls start to fall, when you say, I don't know what else to do, your energy softens. And in that softness, you become receptive. Because the truth is, it's not that the signs weren't there before, it's just that you couldn't hear them. Think about this. Maybe the delay you've been fighting against isn't rejection, but redirection. Maybe the closed door is not a punishment, but a divine pause. So many people think, I'm doing everything right. Why am I not receiving? But what if the moment you think you failed is actually the moment you're being guided to recalibrate, to shift direction, to soften, to release the need to control every outcome? Because prosperity isn't about hustle. It's about harmony. It's when your energy, your intention, and your surrender start to move in rhythm. That's when the signs start glowing like lanterns. That's when the path gets clearer. So, if you're at that point, right now, the breaking point, the surrender point, this message is reaching you for a reason. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just being emptied. So you can finally receive. Take a breath and ask yourself, what if everything I thought was working against me was actually preparing me? If that lands in your heart, write it below. I'm not being blocked, I'm being prepared. Say it slowly, because this shift in perception might just change everything. We all want certainty, proof, guarantees. We want to know that our manifestation is working, that our visualizations are doing something, that the universe is listening. So when a sign shows up, a repeating number, a phrase we needed to hear, a song that hits us right in the chest, we hope it means, yes, your desire is on the way. Don't worry, it's done. But here's the truth. Signs aren't promises. They're preparations. They're not a final answer. They're a frequency adjustment. They show up to help you align, to recalibrate your energy, to whisper, you're close, now open, now trust, now allow. You see, receiving isn't just about what you want, it's about who you are when it arrives. Right, because if money comes while you're still vibrating scarcity, you'll lose it. If an opportunity shows up while you're still clinging to self-doubt, you'll reject it. If prosperity knocks but your door is blocked by fear, you won't even hear the knock. So signs show up as practice, as spiritual training, to stretch your capacity to believe, to feel, to trust before the thing arrives. They're invitations, not guarantees. That's why when you see a sign, you don't just wait. You prepare. You expand your ability to receive with grace. You clear out the old stories. You soften the part of you that still thinks you have to earn it all through struggle. Because the more signs you recognize, the more ready you become. Not just to notice, but to welcome, to receive, to hold. If you're ready to stop chasing proof and start becoming the version of you who naturally receives, comment below. I am preparing to receive. I align. I trust. I welcome. Let the universe know you're not just watching for signs anymore. You're becoming the one they were always meant for. Let's talk about something that confuses a lot of people. How do I know if this is really a sign or just my imagination? It's a fair question, because we live in a noisy world, a world of constant information, distractions, and doubts. But the truth is, signs don't speak to your logic. They speak to your energy. You recognize a sign not because your brain says, "That makes sense." You recognize it because something in your body whispers, "Pay attention." It's that pause, that flicker in your chest, that sudden feeling of knowing without explanation. A real sign doesn't come with certainty. It comes with resonance. You don't need to overthink it. You just need to be honest with what you feel. Let me give you a real-life example. You're scrolling your phone, and you suddenly see a post that says, "The money you're waiting for is already on its way." You stop and feel a chill. You weren't even looking for it, but it found you. You feel your heart beat differently. Maybe you tear up. Maybe you get goosebumps, and part of you whispers, "That was for me." You didn't force it. You didn't invent it. It simply landed. And that's how you know. You don't chase signs. You become still enough to let them find you, and when they do, you honor them. Not by waiting, but by moving in alignment. So what do you do when you receive a sign? You take action. From a new place. You say yes to the thing you were avoiding. You let go of the fear you've been feeding. You raise your standard. You open your hands and say, "Okay, I'm listening. Let's go." Because a sign is not a finish line. It's a green light. It's a mirror saying, "You are ready. Start walking." If you've ever questioned whether a moment was a sign, and you felt it more than you could explain, write this in the comments. I trust my energy. I recognize the signs, and I move with them. Say it slowly. Let it echo inside you. Because the truth is, you've always known the way. You just needed permission to follow it. Here's something most people don't realize. Prosperity isn't an amount. It's a frequency. It's not about how much money is in your account. It's about how safe, supported, and open you feel to receive it. Some people have thousands and still live in fear. Others have very little and live in a state of deep gratitude and ease. So when you ask for prosperity, when you say, "Universe, I'm ready for abundance," the first thing life gives you isn't the money. It's a shift, a nudge to change your thoughts, a message that challenges your scarcity, a situation that asks you to choose trust over control. And that is the first sign. Prosperity doesn't just arrive in your bank account. It first arrives in your vibration. Think of it like tuning a radio. You don't hear the music until you dial in the frequency. Same with wealth. Same with opportunity. Same with miracles. And what dials your energy in? Your belief, your openness, your readiness to see the signs and walk in faith. Let me ask you something real. Do you truly believe that money loves you? That wealth wants to be close to you? That abundance is safe in your hands? If the answer is not yet, that's okay. That's why the signs are showing up, to help you change your frequency before the abundance arrives. Because when your field is aligned, money flows where you are. Opportunities stick, support appears, and your nervous system relaxes enough to actually receive. You don't have to chase it anymore. You just have to keep choosing alignment. And you'll know when you're aligned because the signs will become obvious, louder, more frequent, until one day you won't need signs anymore. Because your life becomes the sign, your peace becomes proof, your joy becomes magnetic. If you're ready to step into the frequency of prosperity, not just wait for it, but actually become it, Write this in the comments now. I'm aligned with prosperity. I receive with grace. I welcome abundance into my field. Let the universe know, let yourself know, that the preparation is over and the receiving has begun. Something magical happens the moment you stop chasing and start listening. It's quiet at first. You begin noticing things other people miss. You hear lyrics differently. You feel energy in conversations. You sense when something is off and when something is meant for you. It's like life is always playing a melody, and now you're finally tuned in. Because here's what nobody tells you. The universe was never ignoring you. It was just waiting for you to be still enough to hear. And when you begin to hear, everything changes. You stop forcing. You stop begging. You stop panicking. You move from proving to receiving, from anxiety to authority, from confusion to clarity. You start walking differently, talking differently. Even your posture changes because you're not in survival anymore. You're in alignment. And from this state, this deep inner knowing, you start to trust something you can't explain. You begin to live like someone who already knows. My path is sacred. My timing is divine. And I will not be late for what is mine. Yes, you still want the money. Yes, you still want the success. But now you understand that those things are byproducts, not the source. The real wealth is the peace that rises when you're not doubting yourself anymore. The real manifestation is waking up and knowing. Today, I am supported. Today, I am guided. Today, I am becoming the version of me who no longer needs signs, because I am the signal. That's the point of all this. Not just to get what you want, but to remember who you really are. So if this message reached you, if it stirred something real in your chest, if it felt like the exact thing you needed to hear, that's not random. That's alignment. That's resonance. That's the divine responding to your vibration. So pause right now, place your hand over your heart, and say this with me. I receive the sign. I trust the path. I am open to receive all that is already mine. Say it slowly. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you're ready, because you are. Thank you for letting this video be a part of your journey. If it helped you, if it reminded you of who you are, subscribe to the channel because you belong in this space. Like this video and show the universe you're listening, and most of all, share it with someone who might be waiting for a sign right now, because sometimes you are the sign someone else has been praying for. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep walking in trust, keep choosing peace, and remember, you are never waiting alone. Something beautiful is already on the way.